Thank you for attending the Week of Kindness. Coming up next is another powerful, impactful, amazing speaker. Get your notepad out, get your pen. Let's get ready and enjoy. Hey, hello, everyone. We are waiting for our esteemed guest. She will be here shortly. I tell you what, what's really interesting for me is that whenever we do live television, now I see why so many people are just like, live what? Because you have to really be kind of on your toes, don't you, when you are doing any type of live broadcast, especially when you are self-producing. This is where, and I tell you, honestly, this is where the rubber meets the road, and StreamYard link, making sure she can get in. And this is where, the girls and the boys are separated from the women and the men, the strong and the it is pretty amazing. I have been having a great time thus far today. Today we have like so many amazing and so many insightful guests. You're going to get to hear right after Kimberly is going to start talking about 10xing your business, right? You are going to hear directly from some mindset, paradigm shifting individuals. You also are going to get to hear from one of my, well, these are the next up. Well, Kimberly's a friend, but guys, you're going to get to hear from a lot of my own personal friends today. And I'm so excited about that. So Yunri and Matt's work, and also you're going to hear from Mac Abbott all about PR and how important public relations is, and why. So all my entrepreneurs out there, or people that want to be influencers, or are influencers right now, if you've been just trying to get that blue check mark, I don't know if anyone's listening or hearing me out there, but anybody wanting to get that blue check mark, and you're just like, how many people do I have to have? And how do people with like nobody on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, how do they get their blue verified check mark? Well, for sure on Instagram, it is that you are mentioned, right? You have mentions, and that you are mentioned in publications, right? So that for me is anytime you can actually get a reputable PR group to help you do that, that is just amazing. So we're going to hear from one today. We also get to hear from a couple of healers today, right? From Carrie Whitman, who does crystal healing and Reiki healing, and she makes jewelry. It's just, it's amazing. So we're going to hear from her today. We're also going to hear from Dr. Sage, who is a spiritual fertility / womb healing coach, and so much, much more. Well, I'm not Kimberly Crowe, but I maybe y'all might want to listen to me a little bit. Today, I'm gonna see also if Tony can come back. Let me see where Tony's at. And let's see where Tony's at here. And we'll see who can come back up here and help as well. Um, oh God, I thought I lost it. I thought you guys went away. Hold on. Here we go. Just gonna give some people the mic. Let's see here. All right. Week of kindness and gratitude. I'm just going to kind of talk to you guys a little bit about gratitude. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about how one can, how when you change your attitude, how when you operate in an attitude of gratitude, you end up accelerating your growth. Okay. So you guys are going to get one from me. Just you didn't know this was the talk that you wanted to get, okay? So here we go. Attitude of gratitude. in all areas. I will tell you something that I am absolutely grateful for. And one of the things that I am absolutely grateful for are all of the mentors, all of the teachers, all of the people who may not have realized that they were mentoring me, um, or some did, right? Some they were mentoring me full on, and they knew it. We all knew what was going on. But I am grateful for all of the lessons that I have learned from them. And I am also grateful for the ability to know that life could be a lot different. Life could be a lot worse, and not sitting in a space and feeling sorry for myself. One of the things that I've learned in life in general, business, personal, family, relationships, friendships, situationships. One thing that I have learned is the longer I sit and say, woe is me, the tougher life becomes. The longer I sit and blame everyone else all around me for what's going on in my life, rather than taking some level of accountability for that, the longer the life just kind of stays stagnant or we go backwards. I am grateful for every lesson that has been learned. I am grateful for every broken relationship. I am grateful for every toxic situation. I am grateful for every complete victory. I am grateful for every time I fell down, scraped my knee. Absolutely grateful for everything. You know why? Because it made me the woman that I am today. I would not be this person today. I would not be the entrepreneur. I wouldn't. I wouldn't be the grandmother and the mother. I wouldn't be the aunt. I wouldn't be the goddess. I wouldn't be the strong woman that I am today, but also able to have a huge level of compassion for people, for everyone in their human condition, right? I would not know success if I did not know the obstacles. So you have to be grateful for the good, the bad, the indifferent. I have Tony in the background. Tony, do you want to come up and chat with me for a few minutes about gratitude? Would that be okay? All right. Hey there. How are you? Welcome back.
Still dealing with not enough light in the background. By the way, guys, I do actually teach how to get rid of this. I just don't have the lighting equipment with me.
It's
But you know what?
okay.
I don't want to. What is it? That Patty Stulin says. I don't want to something your wow. Eek your wow or something like that. But I love what you were saying, Lisa. So please don't let me come in and belittle anything about what you're saying, because it's so true. If we didn't have the ups,
And the
we
down.
wouldn't have the downs, and if we didn't have the downs, we wouldn't have learned a darn thing.
Right.
You
Right.
know.
Right.
And I see that so often, as people are destined to repeat and repeat and repeat the same mistakes
Mm-hmm.
until you figure it out.
Mm-hmm. 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 And and I think that the thing is that we also have to take accountability. I know we were talking about gratitude, guys, but I'm grateful for the fact that I learned to take accountability for situations, at least
Oh,
my part in it, right?
yeah.
Because what happens, I think, and this is a natural thing, we learn this as children, right? Oh, my brother or my sister or the dog, somebody else did something, right? Um, because we think it's easier, it feels better at the moment if we don't have to say, yeah, I broke that vase, I broke that vase, that was me, all me, you know. Um, but it's better if, sometimes I feel like we think that it's a better deal if we don't have to do that. And but when you don't take accountability for your part in any area of your life, you don't learn the lesson, and you will repeat it
Yeah.
over and over again until you learn the lesson.
That's so true. So true.
So I found that, quite frankly, I found that in my personal life, and then I realized where it was showing up in the rest of my life. I didn't understand why I would always get into these situations where, I'm at work, and things are going great, and we're getting promotions, things are great, everybody, loves everything that I'm doing.
Right.
But then all of a sudden, one day, either there'd be a layoff or a grave misunderstanding, or something would happen, and I wouldn't get that next promotion, or I
Oh, I
or
remember those.
where things, or I wouldn't get the part, or I wouldn't, whatever the case was, I wouldn't get the role, or my
Mhm.
relationship would all of a sudden blow up, right? And it took me until I was in my 40s. So please, anybody out there that's younger than that, please learn this lesson now, so you don't have to wait so long. But it wasn't until I got into my 40s that I realized that I was self-sabotaging. That I literally, in the back of my heart, mind, and deep down in my heart, did not believe I deserved the success I was helping everybody else to get. That's that's a deep feeling. And that's a deep realization. I never felt like I was enough. I know, because when you're raised in certain households and certain cultures, it's like boom, boom. You got to be the best. You got to be 5 times better, 10 times better.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Just driven, driven, driven. And I think that, our parents did the best, right? They knew how, but they didn't realize what was happening in that driving us to be what they
Yeah.
felt was going to be the best that we could be.
The one thing, Lisa, that I have over the past 6 years in the world of authors, healers, speakers, coaches, the one thing that I've come to realize is that, man, and I've heard this from grown men, and I've heard this from grown women, nobody can screw you up as much as your parents. And I sit there and I see grown men, you know, eh, you know, pouring their soul out into a microphone in a room of 1 or 2 or 300 people,
Yeah.
saying, "I never thought I was good enough. I always had to strive. I always had to do this. I
Yep.
always had to do that, and I'd work myself into oblivion."
Yep.
And we have a good mutual friend of ours that we see them doing that right now, and it's let me put it this way. I was the same way. I was an incredible workaholic. And that's it. That was my life. And I found out that I was number one running away from my ex-husband most of the time, so I'd rather work than be home. And number two, and that's not fair to the kids, right? Because they're the
No,
ones who suffered for that.
no.
And then the second time around, I was running away from an unhappy situation because I didn't know how to deal with the codependency of alcoholism. And so, I mean, all of
Mm.
these and I repeated the same thing. I immersed myself into a job and a new career and all this kind of stuff, and that was my life. And the house took a secondary role.
Yeah.
Um, so it's one addiction after another is the
Yep.
way I'm putting it because workaholics are addicted because that's their getaway.
Yes.
And you know what happens to workaholics, Lisa?
What?
We we drive our immune system to the brink of
I
disaster.
just heard that.
Oh no, no, I'm living proof.
Oh, you knew that. I didn't.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, your immune system pays for it because you never shut down.
Yep.
You never relax.
Yep.
Your mind is constantly racing, and
Yep.
you hear this, you can't sleep and you can't lay down and you can't watch a movie.
Yep.
That's an hour and a half. What am I gonna do in an hour? I can't give it up an hour and a half. I gotta go work. You know,
Yeah.
uh and I can't tell you how many times I miss the kids' invitations. Hey, let's go see this movie at the theater. And I'm like, I can't, I've got a deadline. And
Mhm.
and I look back now, and I'm 2 months away from 68, guys.
Yes.
And I look back now and I think to myself, God, what an idiot. Because I don't I don't know of anybody that wants somebody to stand up at their funeral and say, God, she worked hard.
Well, and they don't, right? They
No,
don't get to say that.
they're
They you
hurt.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, so it's difficult at that point, right? And but we have to take that accountability. I'm grateful. The interesting thing is, I'm very grateful for all of the workaholic things that I did when I was as a youngster, as a
Yeah.
young mother. I look at the kids, and the kids will tell me now as adults, man, mom, you taught us hard work, how to work hard, and you taught us to give our all, and we wouldn't have been the people we are today had we not had that experience. They wouldn't have gotten exposed to, corporate life and
Right.
management, and watching me do all these different entrepreneurial endeavors. So for that, I'm grateful, right?
Right.
For that, I'm extremely grateful. And I'm also extremely grateful that I learned as a parent, um, I learned the lesson of it's okay to apologize to your kids,
Oh,
right?
yes.
And
I've done
and
that.
that,
I have done that.
yeah,
So, talk about workaholic. It's so funny because you see the same person, the same thing over and over and over again, right?
yeah.
And you see it in your friends and all that. And you know who I'm leading up to because I noticed you definitely. But it's going to be amazing
Yeah,
when she comes on because
yep,
I love her solution to
yes,
workaholism, and we're gonna hear a lot about that in just
yes.
a bit.
So I'm gonna bring Kimberly Crowe up to the stage now. Hello there. How are you?
Hi, ladies. I'm great. How are you?
We're
So
well, thank
we gotta
you.
stop talking about her now. She's here.
I know, we have to stop. It was just us anyway. Um, so Kimberly, we wanted to bring you up. I know that there's live television. I tell you, live streaming is interesting, isn't it? It's very interesting. We're gonna give you the stage. We're gonna Tony, let's introduce Kimberly because she's been actually a huge influence in my life. I think I stumbled upon Speakers Playhouse. I feel like it's been almost 2 years ago now,
Yeah.
and that's just a fabulous place, and it's actually helped me grow so much and introduce me to this world of speaking and summits and podcasts and all of these great things. So I have to thank you immensely for that, because I wouldn't be the woman I am today without Kimberly
Hey,
Crowe.
Kimberly, before you dive into the stages talk that you do so well, um, you and I've known each other. We've been roomies. We've had friends. We've got we've had conversations. We have what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But we were just talking about the world of workaholics, and I love what you eventually did to handle that. And basically, you went off on a trip, and you are a road warrior. I should say rogue warrior. At the same time, you bring yourself back to do the show, from wherever you are in the world. But I love that you set this up as a mission. You want to get into that just a little tiny bit of how you dealt with dealing with our, all of us are workaholics, how you dealt with it.
Sure. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Lisa. Super excited to be here. What an amazing event you guys have created. Speakers Playhouse is super proud to be a sponsor of Week of Kindness. You guys have done over the years so many amazing things with it, and we're super proud that you have created such a following and so many amazing audience members and speakers and tribe, really, with the Week of Kindness. Yes, people, when you introduce yourself to somebody, they're always like, where are you from? So I was on a cruise, the Marketers Cruise, which many of you know. I was on a cruise and I met a person and shook his hand and was like, hey, great to meet you. Where are you? And he said, where are you from? And I said, well, San Diego. And he said, that's awesome. And I said, where are you from? And he said, I travel full time. And I was like, oh, interesting. And then I was like, wait, what? What did you just say? You like, what is that? What is traveling full? Tell me more. And I was like, I need to learn about this, because at the time I actually had I still do have a really awesome partner who we were building this thing together, and I was really into it and she was as well. But I was working 7 days a week. Oftentimes I pull 16-hour days talking to people, making things happen. And I was loving every bit of it, but I was also in a state of overwhelm. In fact, she called me out, Ginny Trask, my partner at Speakers Playhouse. She called me out. She's like, you never take time to celebrate wins. You never have downtime. You aren't taking vacations. You're not like, what's going on? And I was like, sure, I do. I take vacation between Christmas and New Year. And she's like, is that what you really want? 7 days a week, 24/7? Like, really, that's what you want? I was like, no, I got to rethink this. So when I heard the concept of traveling full time, that was in January of 2020, right before COVID. COVID struck about February or March 2020. But by August of 2020, just through personal determination, I started traveling full time. I left the house that I had been in for 20 years on August 20th of 2020. And I left and started traveling full time. It's not an RV lifestyle. I don't own an RV, but I sold everything. I took 2 suitcases and I was like, all right, the only thing I need for work is my laptop, and living the laptop lifestyle can be done by an entrepreneur. And let's see how this really works. And I thought it would last about 6 months. And I'm still doing it. We're recording this in 2023, or we're live in 2023. So it's been about 2.5 years, and I'm loving every minute.
That is, so are you still living out of your suitcase, sis?
Yes and no. I have people are like, okay, so really, like, where's your stuff? And I'm like, I sold all of it. Like, I got rid of everything. But
so we play Where's Kimberly instead of Where's Waldo.
A lot of people joke about that. My kids joke about that. They call each other and they're like, where's mom today? And that's awesome. It's a really good feeling. But there are certain things like pictures. And actually, the wedding dress that I wore that my daughter would like to wear, that was actually my mother's. So my mom wore it in her wedding. I wore it in mine. And my daughter would like to wear it in her wedding. And I'm not taking that in the suitcase when I go around the world. So that's at my mom's house, along with some pictures. I have some things at my daughter's house, but very, very little. It's really just I show up and I swap out clothes for other clothes, and then I go back on the road. So yes, I really do still sort of live out of 2 suitcases, and it's great.
That is so amazing.
What it enabled me to do, though, is in August, what Tony was referring to. In August, mid-August, I'd been traveling full time for 2 years. And my daughter was like, I want to walk the Camino in Spain. And we walked Camino del Norte. And Camino del Norte is about a 500-mile trek across the north of Spain from France to Camino del Santiago to Santiago. And when you walk it, it takes about 4 weeks. And so we did it and walked across Spain. It actually took us about 5.5 weeks because we took our time. And then we spent another 2 weeks in Paris and Australia, and not Australia, Paris and Budapest, Hungary. We went to Austria, and we went to one other country I can't remember. It was just awesome. It was just fantastic.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, you were wanting to talk about, and I really want to understand this, the four different stages an entrepreneur can go through
Yeah.
before the entrepreneur gets to the stage where we're able to live out of 2 suitcases. But I think I have too many purses. I don't know what I will do. But we can talk about that. And maybe you can help me with that. But so tell us a little bit about, like, you didn't just land here yesterday. This took some time for you to get to this point. Can you share with us how you got here?
Sure. There's a great story about a painter, and this amazing group of people are watching her, create new art and everything. And one person turns to one of the beautiful pictures behind her and says, "This piece is really amazing. How long did it take you to create that?" And she looks him straight in the eye and she says, 72 years. And so, how long did it take me to create my laptop lifestyle? 50 some years. So I do love it. And we will talk about the 4 types of stages every entrepreneur should get on, because I believe that if you can get on stages, that speaking one to many can draw people into your world faster and more effectively than those one-on-one conversations, and trying to chase customers and haul people into your boat. It's much more fun when you can get out there and attract the right kinds of people to come to you that already like you, that have already built know, like, and trust of you, and they jump into your boat without you having to do much at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, do you to tell us a little bit about that then here
Sure.
today? Should we just, you want the stage all to yourself? We can leave you alone.
Awesome. We could just jump in. You guys can play along with me if you like, but stage number 1 is what's very common out there as speak to sell. A speak to sell stage is a stage that you get on with the intention of eventually bringing somebody to a product, program, or service that you have to offer. Now, it does not have to be that speak to sell stage that most people know, where they get up and they throw a bunch of PowerPoints up and they say how great their program is, and then they talk you into buying it. They're like, it's worth $1 million with all this stuff in it, but if you buy it right now, you can get it for $9.97, and you'll get all these extra bonuses and stuff like that. And that is a to sell stage, right? They're speaking to sell. But there are many other stages that are designed as supportive of entrepreneurship to get people to know you a little bit better, to build your know, like, and trust, so that they can know who you are and how you show up in the world. And then perhaps you don't just offer something for sale. Perhaps you offer something for free. Perhaps you have a call to action that says, come meet me in the back of the room if you're on an in-person stage, or let's set up a coffee chat afterwards, or grab my freebie, or go to my website, or send me an email. All of those things, if they lead eventually to a program, product, or service that you're offering, are speak to sell stages. So it's an opportunity for you to be able to get the word out about your business, but speaking one to many, so that you deliver a talk to 2 sweet, amazing women, Lisa Burr and Tony Kaufman. And then on the back end, people might be able to build their know, like, and trust of me as they go forward. Same thing for you guys, right? It's a great opportunity to be able to do that. So that is stage number 1, is speak to sell.
Awesome. Awesome. What's stage number 2?
Awesome. Stage number 2 is the brass ring of all speakers. They really want to grab this because they think it's really magic, and it is magic in some ways. It is the paid speaking gig. That is, you're going to pay me to get on stage and share my knowledge with your audience. And those are really fantastic stages. It's a great opportunity to be able to get on a stage and share your knowledge with an amazing audience that is going to help them know a little bit more about you, but also that you get paid for sharing knowledge, right? You're not trying to sell them anything, you've already gotten your check at the beginning of the talk. The way to maximize that one, of course, is to get paid before you speak, because if you speak and then you are trying to collect a check, you've just built a new business for yourself, which is collections, and nobody likes that. So great opportunity to be able to grow your business, but getting paid to actually impart the knowledge rather than wait for somebody to buy your product afterwards. So that can be a really fantastic way to grow your speaking business as well. And as an entrepreneur, having that paid speaking opportunity can really supplement your income. You ready for stage number 3?
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ask you a little bit about stage number 2, if I could.
Yep.
How difficult are those stages, do you think, to get?
Well, it's once you start building it, those stages create new opportunities to speak as well. Because
Okay.
once you're a paid speaker, you start running the speaker circuit. But it can be very, very easy to get paid speaking gigs. I will tell you, my first paid speaking gig happened to me when I was 7 years old. I sold tickets to a magic show that I put on with my brother. I was the MC of it, and we collected 10 cents a piece for tickets. I made $1.70 that day. It was fantastic. That is about what paid speaking gigs end up paying the average speaker. They are not huge money makers, I will tell you. I make a lot more money on speak to sell than I ever did on paid speaking gigs. But here are some examples of other paid speaking gigs that you might think about. I've been an audiobook narrator. I have been a equestrian polo announcer, like a
Wow.
color announcer. I have been an actress, a paid actress. I have done murder mystery improv shows. I have taught classes. I have taught classes in other people's courses where they just paid me a stipend. Those paid speaking gigs, they can net you $5,000, $10,000 an hour, like for a gig. Those are very rare, right? If you are a
Yeah.
former president of the United States and you have a great story to share, then absolutely $40,000 per paid speaking opportunity is a possibility. If you're not a former president of the United States, it will probably be less.
Gotcha. So become president and then I can get. I'm just kidding.
Well, you can definitely run for president, but it seems like a lot more work.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, stage number 3. What do we got for stage number 3?
Stage number three is an authority stage. So if you can get on a stage that gives you authority and credibility by its very nature, that's an excellent stage to get on. For example, most people right away, they think of TEDx, right? Put a note in the
Mhm,
comments if you want to do a TEDx in the future.
mhm.
That can be a very powerful way to be able to grow your credibility, authority, know, like, and trust. But here's the thing, on a TEDx stage, you cannot sell anything. You can't sell your program, product, or service. You can't even
Mm,
pitch toward it. If you do, your TEDx will actually go in TEDx jail. You will never see it out there because it's copyrighted by TEDx once you stand on that red dot, and you cannot release it. It is their property. And if they feel like you violated the rules, then you don't get to have that TEDx ever released to the public. Now, if you are out there and you're like, hey, Kimberly, if I can't sell from the stage, and I can't, and by the way, you can't get paid to speak on a TEDx stage either. If I can't get paid to speak on it and I can't sell on it, why would I do it? And the answer is because it builds your credibility and your authority. So if you have a TEDx, it elevates you as a speaker. In fact, speaker bookers often look for that as a checkbox. Have you spoken on a TEDx? Are you at
mm,
that level? A credibility and authority stage is one in which you have to get through a certain gate in
mhm.
order to get on that stage. Somebody has to qualify you as an expert to speak on that stage. So if you ever spoke on Oprah or Dr. Phil, or if you ever spoke on CNN, somebody would have to verify your credentials beforehand. And by speaking on that stage, the audience assumes that you have been through that credentialing. So it automatically
Wow.
gives you an authority to be able to say, this is who I am. Now, I actually had an authority stage that I got on in San Diego, California, when I was still working at corporate. I
Mhm.
spoke on the Women Who Mean Business stage. I had to get nominated to be awarded on that. And then I actually got 19 letters of recommendation. And I don't know if I
Wow.
needed that many, but I actually did get that many. And that put me on stage. My company actually did a PR announcement in the news that I had gotten on that stage. And also, we sent a note to all of our current customers in the San Diego area. And it was kind of a big deal, right? Because in that particular area, that stage indicated that I was a woman who meant business, but I also had a good balance in charitable work, and that I had a background in the community as well. So there were a lot of different pieces to get authority in that. So that is the third type of stage. And we'll go right into type number 4, which may surprise you. Stage number 4 is actually a rehearsal stage. Now, I have been on 5,000 stages. Would you like to guess when my best talk ever was?
I don't know. At home? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
It could be, right? Sometimes in the bathroom shower, right? Like that would be a good time. The TEDx is what most people guess. And actually, that was not my best talk ever. My best talk is my next talk. Why? Because I can always improve. And so can you, right?
Yes.
So every stage should be a rehearsal stage. I don't recommend you using the TEDx stage as a rehearsal stage. You got to practice and be up to speed on that. But TEDx stage can also be a rehearsal stage for your next one, right? It's a very high level one, and you sure better have your act together when you get on it. But you want to make sure that you are using rehearsal stages everywhere. So if you get on a podcast, it's not a big deal. Maybe they have, 1,000 or more people that are registered to listen to it. Maybe 100 of those listen to you. While that seems like a big deal, it's really not. It's sort of a flash in the pan. So get on as many podcasts as you can, get on as many stages as you can. The more you get on stages, the more practice you have, and the better you are at public speaking. The number 1, 2, and 3 things that speaker bookers look for is number 1, do you know who your target audience is, and is it mine? Number 2, do you have a really good talk title? And number 3, have you spoken before? And that's really what we're looking for. And then there's some more things after that, but those are the top 3 that we're really looking for. When we put people on our stage, that's what we want to know.
That is amazing. That is amazing. And that's very true, you guys. If you're wanting, speaking for me has opened up so much as far as my own entrepreneurial business, right? Because you gain authority, you gain credibility, you gain confidence, and you get to get yourself out in front of audiences that potentially have clients in them for you, and that you never would have seen otherwise. They never would have seen you. They could have never experienced you. And so that's why I found that I absolutely love both speaking and having my own podcast. And I'm sure you guys can tell Kimberly this is like her thing, right? This is why her and Tony get along so well. This is both their thing. You have an amazing gift for folks here today, and I want to be sure that we let them know what it is you've got. You guys are going to want this.
Awesome. So yes, it is the 10 expert secrets to engage your virtual audience. So it's difficult to engage an audience that's virtual compared to an audience that's in person. I had somebody come up to me and they're like, Kimberly, when you go to a virtual stage, it's way different. I used to speak on in-person stages, and I could walk around the room and talk to people. I could meet them at the break. I could make sure that they were engaged. And do you remember when your 4th grade teacher used to walk down the aisle and put her hand on your desk because you were speaking and disruptive? Wait, was that just me? It might have been.
No, it was me.
Anyway, so when that happens, that's a way to re-engage the audience, but you can't do that in virtual, right? So these are ways that you can actually get your virtual audience to take action during your talk, because if they're engaged, they're going to take action at the end.
Absolutely. That is amazing. You guys, we've got that link down here, and it's showing on the screen. It is in the chat. It is also on our landing page, both in Event Raptor and the other landing page that we have. So you guys are going to gain access to this everywhere. This has been amazing. I know this was like down and dirty and super quick. Oh, also, I'd love for you to let everybody know about Speakers Playhouse and where they can go every Thursday for the best 90 minutes of their week. Oops. Okay, sorry about that. Not sure what happened. I apologize. Okay, guys, we just had a little bit of issue there. So we are going to. Oh, here she's back. She's back. Oh my gosh, the interwebs. The interwebs are conspiring. They are conspiring.
Hello. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I was
Sometimes it just happens, which brings me to my point that as a speaker, you always need to have a backup and a backup to your backup. Sometimes that needs to happen, right? So yes, you were asking about Speakers Playhouse. Speakers Playhouse is an event that we created. It happens every single Thursday. It's completely free. If you're looking for stages to get on and you're like, how do I find a podcast to get on? We will drop at every single week, roughly between 30 and 60 different speaking opportunities. And we have the stage hosts there, and they come on stage and they share with you, the entire audience, what the name of their show is, the type of audience they have, and the types of guests they're looking for. It's totally gamified. It's goofballery. It's a lot of fun. I believe if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. Sort of like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride meets Whose Line Is It Anyway, where the points don't matter, or they matter a whole lot, depending on who you are. It's a great opportunity to be able to get stages for yourself, to be able to speak on other people's stages, and then you get a chance to grab the mic as an attendee. Everyone can grab the mic and share their name, their talk title, and the audience that they're looking to get in front of. So as you come up and you start to get known more frequently by coming every week, or you can just come once, drop in. I know you'll have a lot of fun. Sort of like eating potato chips. You can't just do it once. We would love to have you guys join us. So that's speakersplayhouse.com. You can check it out. Totally free event every single Thursday.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kimberly. I very much appreciate you coming over and helping us out with this Week of Kindness and being a sponsor of the Week of Kindness. It is absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Any final thoughts before we kind of wrap her up today for this edition?
No, but it's been my pleasure to be here. You guys need to stay tuned. There are tons of amazing speakers. I know many of them that are speaking this week on Week of Kindness. You got to tune in, show up, and go VIP. It's part of the Cool Kids Club, and you get a lot of bonuses and a lot of amazing stuff. I know I included, I believe, the Impressively Impromptu. You guys are going to get a whole bunch of really cool stuff by upgrading to VIP. So don't wait. Go ahead and grab it now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kimberly. Thank you so much. We will see you soon. I'll try to see you Thursday before I leave out of town.
Awesome.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Lisa. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. All right, gang. We are going to head it on over. We have our next speaker up right away here. Here is the YouTube link, and I put it up on the channel as well. We're going to see you guys over there. The fun has not stopped. Okay, here we go, guys. We'll see you soon. Wow, I hope you enjoyed that just as much as I did. Thank you so much for all of that great information. Hey, we're not done yet, so just relax. We're going to continue on with our next speaker in just a few moments.